Yeah, certainly. Well, one of the main challenges is of course, finalization of a rule book, the development of a rule book that will really work. And that's a very important step to try to come to an agreement on how we'll monitor and how we'll enforce the commitments that have been made by the countries. But honestly, I don't think that that's the main challenge in the larger field that's being met or that the negotiators have to face. The main challenge that really has to be faced is the fact that, as we all well know, the current NDCs are such that if we were to follow them and the rule book were to be developed and to work perfectly, we would sail past 2 degrees. The NDCs are not nearly sufficient to keep us below 2 degrees, let alone helping us to get down to about 1.5 degrees. So the key thing that observers can do is to continue to encourage actions that will help keep us well below 2 degrees and to develop narratives for helping people to want to see where they can turn this from the challenge of transformation into something positive for them in their own individual lives, taking new ways of living that really capitalize on an understanding that sometimes less is more, sometimes more is less. One of the major functions of our organization is to serve as a platform that brings together parties that often wouldn't speak to each other. We have developed a sufficient reputation and a sufficient capacity to do this so that we can bring together, for instance, very diverging standpoints from civil society and from science and from policy. We're doing this around various topics, from relatively straightforward topics like the energy transitions to extremely controversial topics like the topic of climate geoengineering, where we're able to then provide a platform for these parties to come into a more serious discussion with each other to understand the various perspectives. There have been many hopes placed in the possibility that even if we can't get far enough with our fossil fuel emissions reductions, that we could take the carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. That's very likely to work, but it's very unlikely to work before 2050. With the current NDCs, we'll sail past 2 degrees by 2050. So we need to be not placing our hopes in carbon dioxide removal and making sure that we understand we have to reduce emissions. The other part of what I think we need to do for reducing emissions is to shift towards more positive narratives. These transformations that we're seeing have many co-benefits. In many cases, climate can be a co-benefit. For instance, changing to healthier diets will generally mean less meat-based diets and more regionally food-based diets. That has a co-benefit for climate, but the primary benefit is for health. Improved mobility systems can keep us so that we're not sitting in traffic jams as much, which again can help to cut down on emissions and improve the quality of life at the same time. And if we can look for these positive narratives, while we're still negotiating over whether it's 45% or 55% that we need to reduce to, we can get going on things that will help people have improvements in their daily lives and connect to the large systemic transformations that need to be done.